How to add 1 to 4 million a month or more in production and doubling your realtor partnerships in 12 months or less using video sales letters and reverse prospecting. My name is Gilberto. I'm the founder of Maverick Media Lab, and what I'm going to be covering with you today is something that is going to revolutionize and change the way that you grow your mortgage business and grow your referral network. This is specifically for loan officers. This is for mortgage brokers and branch managers. So we're going to be diving right in, and this training is going to go specifically over the four strategies, the 4 steps to growing your mortgage business in a new way of acquiring realtor referral partners. So we're going to dive right into it. And before we do, I want to go ahead and actually show you, before we go into the nitty gritty, here are just a couple mortgage professionals that we've helped with in the past few months and the results that they've achieved with exactly what I'm going to be showing with you today here. Gilbert Elmraz went from 2 million a month in monthly production to about 4 million a month in monthly production by growing his referral partners from about 4 to 5 partners to about 10, 12. Linnea Klein has 5x'd her business within a year of working with us. Patrick Norman has generated an additional 1 million a month every month from his realtor partners. Kelly Graham, he's closed 3 loans from 3 realtor partners in a span of just 30 days. And Tim Kemper, he's doubled his realtor referral partners within 90 days. Gabe Winslow, he's closed 3 transactions with realtor partners in only 7 days. Sammy Bashar, he's added 3 solid realtor partners and to his network in the first week. And James Huerta, he's gotten 5 pre-approvals from realtors that we've sent him. Kara Belsby, she's closed 3 new referral partners and closed a deal within 60 days with a realtor. Paul Francisco, he's acquired 4 realtors from us that keep sending him referrals every month. Chris Arnold, he's generated a referral from a realtor the same day of meeting. Vince Lopez added 5 realtor partners in 30 days. Robert Gates, he's added 5 CPA referral partners in 90 days. So these are the kind of results that you can expect with what I am going to show you here today on how to grow your mortgage business and how to add 1 to 4 million a month using video sales letters and reverse prospecting. So let's talk about the frustrated mortgage professional. So if you're reading this right now, you are a self-generating loan officer, you're a small broker shop, or you are a branch manager, and the majority of your business comes from referrals. And perhaps you've been doing it all yourself. We have a lot of clients that kind of consider themselves one-man shows, and they don't really have that help or enough support. And perhaps you're probably a solo producer and you're looking to close more loans consistently. You're probably looking to get past 10 units a month. And you want to do that by adding about 5 to 15 more referral partners, but you're finding that you just don't have the time to reach out to the realtors. And this is really causing you to be stuck and doing the same production month over month that you can be doing more and that you have much, much more potential. Maybe you're an established loan officer with lots of years of experience in the business, and you're proud of your sales volume, but the bank account reflects something different. You might even feel a bit overwhelmed with the client files. You got to nurture your current realtors, keep them happy, and you want more time to focus on generating more revenue while also having more free time with your family, right? You want to spend more time with the kids and with the wife as well. Perhaps you're a branch manager and you probably have a team of loan officers, and you need to keep them happy. You need to keep them fed. So you need a consistent stream, or rather, even sometimes we've come across this multiple streams of referrals and leads, so you can add on more loan officers to your team. And if you're a broker owner, you're probably in a similar position as a branch manager. You need to delegate some time-consuming activities so you can generate more revenue. and doing so without sacrificing your personal life. Perhaps you are in a situation where you have realtor partners and you're doing Zillow co-marketing with them, and you're getting like a lot of low quality leads, low credit scores, no down payment, leads that don't pan out, and you've wasted hours of cold calling realtors. You're visiting open houses, you're dropping by real estate offices, you're wondering if this time the results will reflect your efforts, and you're done feeling like a telemarketer and a door-to-door salesman. Worst of all, you've probably had agents leave you in the past for another lender or some sort of shiny object that's gotten their attention. Perhaps you're worried about something happening with your current realtor partnerships, and this is a constant fear that comes up, especially when markets change and there's something new, a new lender in the community that might steal your realtor partners. We've had a lot of our clients that have lost realtors to credit unions that undercut them, or other new lenders that have a non-QM program, some stuff like that. Maybe you've hopped from one lead generation company to another and you're looking for the next best thing, and you're treating your marketing like a weight loss diet, always looking for the new magic trick that's going to help you get abs. And we have our next section here, the loan officer income roller coaster. So here is something that we recurringly see, especially as we talk to a lot of loan officers. This is a recurring pattern, and let me know if this is something where you might currently be in one of these cycles. Your marketing increases, so you cold call realtors, you start networking, you start going to open houses to meet realtors, and you're taking the added effort to even reach out to listing agents. And you're finding that as a result of that, closings are increasing. And so as a result of the activity that you're doing, closings are now increasing every single month. But after those record months, we have our marketing decrease, right? So as a result of having more clients coming in and taking care of all these files, you're noticing that now you don't have the time to do what worked, right? So all of that stuff that got you to where you're at now, you're no longer having the time to do the marketing activities that got you in the first place. And so closings decrease after about 3 to 6 months. And now, as a result of not marketing, which are those income producing activities, right? Talking to borrowers, talking to realtors, you now start to notice that over the next 3 months, in the closings you generate really start to decrease. And there's a lot of noise really being made right now online, but you're thinking the old school methods may still work now, right? And so you might be doing some mailers, you might be going to networking events and going to BNI, and it just isn't effective anymore, especially after COVID. A lot of these methods, going to real estate offices, it just didn't, it just doesn't work as well as it did before. And you're currently working with realtors that might not respect your time, realtors that don't even show up to coffee meetings or lunch meetings, and you end up canceling last minute, they end up rescheduling. You may be in a situation where you have realtors that take up most of your time, yet they seem to be the ones that produce the least compared to your other referral partners. And the type of realtors that no matter how well you do, they're going to blame you for what goes sideways during the transaction. And even though it's out of your control, and these are the same type of realtors that, despite your excellent communication, exceptional service, they still complain. And so you're wishing secretly that you could fire these agents, but you're forced to work with them because you have a dry pipeline. And really, the scarcity of predictable business hurts. And you might be in a position where you're currently posting on social media, or perhaps you are employing a social media management company and they're posting on your behalf, and you haven't yet seen an ROI from this. And you're thinking, someday you'll get a magical burst in business with all this posting. All the gurus in the mortgage industry tell you to post on social media, go on LinkedIn, post, go on Instagram, post, go on Facebook. but you're really still missing that consistency and that predictability in your business. And you're listening to all the coaches and the mentors and all of these 20 plus year veterans, and you're realizing that a lot of these methods that they're breaching don't really work as effectively anymore. And quite frankly, they're old school. These methods aren't working as well as they did. And you're cold calling, it's stressful. You may have a few closed deals, but zero under contract for the next month. Maybe you have a $1 million contract in escrow, but it fell through. In the end, you're checking your bank account to see if that commission check came in, and you're worried about that next commission check. You're asking yourself, like, what if the leads dry up? And really, it's this type of pressure that's keeping you up at night, and you're having trouble sleeping because of probably the interest rates or the low inventory, all of these different problems that are keeping you up at night. And it's because of cash flow issues, right? These problems create more cash flow issues, and you feel like there's never really that increase in your bank account that you're really wanting for. And right now, your business is in up and down roller coaster. Winter comes, and it comes every single year, and you're left with nothing to start up with, and you're hitting the ground running for the next year. There's really nothing to. You're pretty starting from zero. And if you're a branch manager or you're an independent broker with a team, you might be buying leads from lead providers like Zillow. You're buying direct mailers, but you're seeing quickly that these channels, they're not as profitable anymore. These conversion rates are low, the lead quality is low, and worse, the loan officers aren't even motivated to follow up with the leads you paid for, and the organization is in shambles. And you're looking really for a hyper profitable model that provides for your loan officers and gives them sufficient leads where they're really motivated to follow up with the leads, and you're feeling like you're on a roller coaster, and there's really no change in your income despite working those 50 to 60 hour weeks. And quite frankly, you're probably sick and tired of it. Maybe you joined a brokerage, and you're looking at their top producing loan officer, and you thought that the brokerage was the key to their success, but you joined the brokerage, and you haven't really had much changes yet to your business, and it's just a little bit more promises and a lot more unmet expectations every time. So now what, right? On to the next brokerage. So guys, enough is enough. If you resonated with any of these points, stick around, all right? Because you're in the right place. I'm going to be going over really the system that's helped our clients add 1 to 4 million a month as a loan officer. And again, this isn't the easiest thing, but it's going to be the proven path to getting you there. And what I'm going to be breaking down is going to make it a lot simpler, so that by the end of this video here, you're going to have something laid out for you that you can follow to really increase your mortgage business. So according to salary.com, the median gross income, according to salary.com, for a loan officer is $45,919. So let's look at, in the US, just healthcare alone, an average American will spend about $5,000 a year on healthcare. And if you're a family of 4, that's a total of like $20,000, right? And without considering the kids going to college, the mortgage payments, and the daily living expenses, you're already down to about $25,919 a year. And it's impossible really to make a living if you're just average, right? And probably explains why around 9 to 10 loan officers, and you've probably experienced this if you're someone that's seeing this right now, that's been in the industry for more than 5 years, you've probably seen that a lot of loan officers really are keeping in. They're coming in, and then after 2 years, couple years, they switch around different companies, and then they end up just washing out and going over to another industry. So why is the median income across the board going down each year? And the truth is that the increasing competition is really decreasing the profits for every single loan officer. Because everyone's doing the same, this is eroding profits. So really, the $1 million question is, what can you do that is different from the competition that will instead attract realtor partners and clients, right? That's the key word. Like, what's going to really make sure that realtor partners are going to see you as someone who has something unique to offer, something different that they haven't heard before. Competition erodes profits. I'm going to say that again. Competition erodes profits. I'm going to let that sink in, because really, here's the truth. Like, it really does erode profits, and you to really carve your own space and not be in the competition. You could close an additional 1 to 4 million a month by attracting realtor partners and clients just using video sales letters combined with organic marketing. And right now, no one else is doing this. However, most loan officers really aren't equipped with the skills to do this. And really, you're not to blame, because a lot of colleges, they're not teaching this stuff. I was actually a marketing, I graduated in a marketing degree. I've never actually heard the stuff that I'm about to teach you here. Is not something I learned there. And we're not really learning this from the most mortgage companies. They're not really going in. They're really expecting you to be self-generating, and really, it's they're kind of just putting you out in the wild with not the proper training on how to really market yourself and how to go out there and really have a consistent and proven system to be able to attract and be able to really attract realtor partners and clients. So the road to getting hundreds of thousands of dollars with your mortgage business is really littered with a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of stuff out there that, quite frankly, might not work. It might be too generic, like just kind of post or reach out to realtors, but they don't tell you how to do it. Reach out to divorce lawyers or CPAs, but they don't really tell you how to do it or what to say, all of those things. So I'm going to clear out as much of the confusion as I can. But first, let me introduce myself. For those that don't know me, my name is Gilberto Rosas. And just a little bit about myself. I studied marketing in university for 4 years at Cal State Long Beach, and during which I worked at one of the biggest marketing agencies in the United States that work with clients like Disney and Lego, among a lot of other very prestigious brands. And in my time there, I built out their entire social media departments, especially using platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn to generate business for the agency and as well for our clients. And it was during this time, working at the agencies that I worked with, that I learned to really what it took to build out a successful marketing agency. And when I graduated from university, I knew that the traditional route of getting a job and going and working for a certain amount of entry level wage, it just wasn't going to help me achieve my goal of financial freedom. It would actually elongate it, and it would take a lot longer. And so I took the leap of faith and I started my marketing agency, and I had to carve my own path, really. And you might be in a similar position as I was. I dived into entrepreneurship, and it might be the same path that you took when you started your brokerage or started your branch, went into the mortgage industry. You saw that there was an opportunity to make really an unlimited, uncapped amount of money based on your own efforts. And I learned very soon I needed to become an expert marketer and a salesperson to grow my business fast and to grow my business fast. And over the past couple of years, I've had the privilege of building out sales teams, building a call center of ISA teams, inside sales agents of 45 plus, and working with hundreds of mortgage professionals and really investing tens of thousands of dollars, literally, into mentorships to really learn these skills and knowledge that would grow our business, our agency here at Maverick Media Lab, and really help accelerate the business of our clients as well. And so it's safe to say, I've learned my fair share of lessons to trial and error, but also through mentorship as well. I've acquired a lot of data points that's allowed me to really break down the stuff that doesn't work and the stuff that really does work, and be able to condense that in a way that you'll be able to understand to really help you in the fastest way possible to achieve your goals. And so using all those lessons, I set forth on a mission to change the mortgage industry and helping loan officers, mortgage brokers, and branch managers market their business better. And throughout my years in entrepreneurship, I've helped over 750 plus customers. I've made them a ton of money. Case studies do not lie. Check out our website. You're going to see a ton of case studies there. A lot of people making a lot of money from what we are doing with our service here at Maverick Media Lab. And we've even been featured on MarketWatch, Yahoo Finance, and a lot of other notable publications such as Thrive Global and other such publications as well. So here's kind of a screenshot there you can take a look at. So for me, really, I learned across this journey of entrepreneurship that it's really helping my clients change their lives and change their business, which really, by doing that, it allows them to change the lives of their employees and change the lives of their families by creating more opportunities. And it really helps even home buyers, right? If we can connect and show a mortgage broker how to market themselves better, that means more families are going to be helped in achieving the American dream, which is something that's very near and dear to me. My parents had, they're originally from Mexico and they came here to achieve the American dream. So it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. And I know when they got a home, it was something that they felt very proud of. And, working with a real estate agent mortgage broker was, a step in that process of achieving and helping them achieve the American dream. And so it's really not just about the closings or the commissions we help generate. It's really, we get a chance to work and impact our clients' lives. And we really get to create opportunities. And through our actions and through our employees' actions, we get to be able to create something that's really meaningful and fulfilling, to be able to not only just help our clients, to be able to help their families, to be able to help home buyers, to be able to help a lot of, for example, our clients' employees, to help them create more opportunities for themselves. So it's really fulfilling when we have a client testimonial or, a positive feedback from our clients, or when they notify us that they've closed a transaction from a realtor, or they've gotten a lot of connections with realtor partners and all these commissions rolling in. It creates something very fulfilling, and it's something that drives our company. It's one of our core values, is to create amazing client results. So let's dive right into the new evolution. So in the following steps here, I'm going to outline the steps to net an additional $4 million a month to your production and grow your realtor referral partners using video sales letters. So this can really be broken down into 4 steps. Number 1 is we're going to craft a unique partnership proposition, and we're going to transpose it into a video format. We're then going to install a reverse prospecting ecosystem. Number 3 is we're going to install a predictable conversion framework. And number 4 is we're going to use a content portal to nurture realtors. Now, I know there's a couple words in here that you might not be familiar. Don't worry, I'm going to go ahead and explain all of these. So it's going to be very simple to understand. I'm going to break it down all of this for you, so that by the end, it's going to be a complete no-brainer. So don't worry about any sort of keywords in here. I'm going to break it down in detail. So let's go to step number 1. We're going to craft a unique partnership proposition, and we're going to transpose it into a video format. So let's talk about the traditional ways of growing your realtor referral partnerships. And for a very very long time, the traditional way most mortgage professionals acquire their realtor partners is really through word of mouth, through realtors that are friends. And usually what happens is that they actually stay with these realtor partners and they're not able to acquire more realtor partners. So those who are a bit more proactive, they acquire them by reaching out to listing agents. They go to open houses. They drop by real estate offices and cold calling on Mondays to realtors. Some of you might be using either of these methods here, but even these methods here, they yield little results or inconsistent results compared to the time and energy invested. So does this sound familiar? Is this something that you're currently doing right now? Does the amount of results you're seeing match the efforts that are currently put in? So think about it right now for yourself. Like, is this something right now that you find has been yielding the results that you're looking for? So as a result of doing all of this here, you're feeling burnt out, you're sick and tired of realtors, and maybe even feel a bit resentful of fickle realtors. And really, worst of all, there's nothing to show for what seems like thousands of hours spent trying to grow your realtor base. And you're left confused and not knowing why you haven't grown your partnerships that you would have hoped. You're probably wondering if you're missing something or if loan officers have some sort of secret sauce for getting realtors. Or you might have gotten some success in the past growing your realtor base, but now you can't fit in the time to go out and prospect those realtors. You're like way too busy now that you have new business coming in and you're swamped. But at the same time that you know that this is an important part of your business and you want to grow this even more. But between dropping off the kids at school, carving out family time, and still making sure all your calls are going out to clients and realtors and updating them on transactions, it's really tough to really find the time every day to reach out to realtors, right? And that's really what it takes, really, to what we've seen to really make it work, is it has to be done on a consistent basis. And really, the traditional way might have worked at some point for getting realtors, and realtors are really catching on and they're really getting sick and tired of getting multiple calls on Mondays from the same lenders and asking them for business or asking them how their weekend went, right? And they're hearing the same things over and over again from every lender, all of them promising the communication, accessibility. I'm available on weekends, I have great programs, and then really falling short or dropping the ball when it comes to getting the loan done. So it's time for a new way to acquire realtors, and one where you don't sound like everyone else, one where you don't present yourself like everyone else, and one where you don't offer the same thing as everyone else, right? When everyone is zigging, you are zagging. And that's what I'm going to be covering next here. So this is really where the magic happens. The new way of growing referral partnerships with high quality realtors is by creating a reverse prospecting ecosystem and utilizing video based sales letter. And I want to share with you something that this right here, what you are reading right now and what you are seeing right now, is an example of a video sales letter. And what this is going to allow you to do is really sell yourself rather than your rates, right? Or the loan programs or anything else that loan officers are saying. A realtor can work with any loan officer, but what they need really is the expert. And what your main goal is to really convey that you are that expert, right? The only way to dominate your market and beat the competition is to sell you as the product, not the programs, not the rates, but you. They are buying you, and to help you with, and to you helping them with their clients. And this is something that you need to remember, because it's something that's super important. And when it comes to everything that we're going to lay out here, the basis is changing the way of what you are selling, right? You are not selling the rate or program, you are selling you to the realtor. So using a video sales letter funnel, it's really important because it really pre-sells your prospects so they can be warmed up to you by eliminating objections or preconceived notions. And it really establishes you as an authority figure, and it gives the prospect really an overview of who you are, how you can help, and what is it that you do and how you're different. And with the video sales letter framework itself, it's really going to determine, and what you do on it is really going to determine the outcome of these results. So, what is a video sales letter exactly? A video sales letter funnel is really a video sales letter placed on a single landing page with a headline. A video sales letter is all you need on the page. You don't need the fancy websites or anything like that. Ignore what your marketing expert or website design guy or tech guy said. You just need a rock solid video sales letter on a great page. The content of the video sales letter is really what's going to determine the conversion rate. Conversion rate meaning the amount of people that actually end up working with you. And really a well-produced video sales letter that provides real value to the user can be put on an ugly landing page, and it's still going to convert at a much higher rate to a well-produced landing page that looks really well, but it has no sales letter. And this is something that we've tested over and over again, not just with ourselves, but also with our clients. And just ask yourself, like, how likely is it for a realtor to work with you if they don't know what you specialize in, that you've helped clients in the past, the awards and achievements that you've had, your unique selling proposition before they even speak to you? It's not very likely that they're going to, work with you without knowing that information, right? We want to go in there and we really want to pre-sell, and we want to show them all the value up front. Otherwise, it's going to be an uphill battle, and it's going to be really hard to have a really productive meeting if they're kind of already coming in very skeptical, or maybe they might not be as warmed up to you, right? And so everyone can really find mortgage loan officers everywhere, especially realtors. They don't even have to walk outside. They get calls from lenders all the time. And you need to be that loan officer that stands out and gives realtors certainty that they are better off working with you as compared to the dozens of other loan officers that cold call them that week. And really, the video sales letter itself, it's built upon old marketing principles, and this is why it works so well. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not applying modern age. We're applying modern age technology to a fundamental marketing principle. And Dan Kennedy, he is a key example for someone who has used sales letters for every one of their clients to grow their business. And for those of you who don't know who Dan is, there's a picture here that I put. Dan Kennedy, featured on Forbes. He's authored 32 books, named to the top 100 business books by Inc. magazine. He's for 9 consecutive years. He's earned an average of about $100,000 per speech that he's spoken at, and he's shared the stage with very popular business speakers like Tony Robbins and even some former US presidents, including Ronald Reagan. And so this is him again. And this is what it's going to take to really drastically increase the amount of meetings that you have with realtors. And it's definitely going to increase the speed at which you receive referrals from them, right? If you have a solid video sales letter, you can use this not just for pre-framing them, but for those that don't watch it, you're able to have it as a follow-up to remind them and to keep it really top of mind. And so the value, really, like what we're doing to show realtors how we can help them and how we're different, really that value is being conveyed through the video sales letter. And it's really the strong sales letter that's going to make you a lot of money, right? Previously, this has been used by companies via direct mail. It's been put on radio. It's been shown on television. You might have seen infomercials. Those are essentially video sales letters, and it's been marketed on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And as long as it's a strong sales letter, it will always win. And here's some of the benefits. You're going to be able to develop a lot more meaningful referral partnerships because they're going to know, like, and trust you a lot faster. And you'll be able to develop the know, like, and trust factor, which means more realtors are going to work with you because they see the value a lot more clearly. It's been explained to them a lot more clearly, and they can watch it as many times to really understand the point. And you'll be able to really start bringing on more team members to handle the growth. Just simply because of your video sales letter, it's going to be attracting your dream referral partners and clients. It's building really a network of referrals that send you new business every single month. And this is where we get into the nitty gritty. So how does it that we create a video sales letter funnel, right? So how do we create a video sales letter funnel? I'm going to break down the exact step-by-step walkthrough of how exactly you're going to do this. So step one, you're going to start the process of creating a video sales letter by creating a PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation. Both are free tools to use. Next, you're going to create a headline with a big, bodacious and new claim. So without a strong headline, it's going to be very, very hard to get attention. And it's going to be very, very difficult just because of what realtors are used to seeing, right? And you can think about diets, right? What people want is new, right? They're sick and tired of the old. And when I mentioned diets, you can see in the fitness industry, there's always different, it's really largely the same thing, right? It's all pretty much like having like some sort of program where they help you, and they all teach you the same fundamentals, right, of what it takes to lose weight or gain muscle. But the way they market it is differently. And the ones that have the strongest, what we call marketing mechanism, or in this case, a video sales letter, the ones who have the strongest video sales letter or the strongest headline are the ones that market better and are able to really take a foothold of the market, right? You might be familiar with some of these yourself. You might even be targeted with them, and they use all the different fancy headlines to be able to get attention and have people go through their video sales letter. So once you've captured your audience with this strong headline, it's really time to demonstrate to your audience that you're a credible information source. And only once that audience knows you're credible will they trust you and be able to listen to your points, right? Without dropping the credibility of proof, the audience is really less likely to believe what you say in the coming parts because they haven't really taken, any sort of, they haven't really seen the proof of this, right? So this is where you throw out case studies, testimonials, all of those good things, right? Step 4. All right. So after building the credibility, you need to call out the audience and identify the prospect. You're calling out the viewers and listeners' desires, their fears, their failures, suspicions, and enemies. Use the opportunity to show emotions, right? And if we can introduce emotion here, you're going to develop deep rapport with the prospect because now you're understanding them, right? If people feel understood, they're a lot more likely to listen to you and feel like you are someone that will be able to help them because you truly understand their situation. Therefore, you understand how to get them out. If it's a situation that, maybe they're not happy with. In the case of diets, someone who's looking to lose weight. So your viewers and listeners will now start to question who you are. So, why is she putting this video out here? This is where you put your background story. So you bring up achievements and track records, use phrases such as X amount of years in the business, closed over X amount in sales volume in 2022, for example, closed X transactions, maybe company name, Hall of Fame, right? Or President's Club, or top 1% originator in South Carolina, for example, or featured in ABC, or Wall Street Journal, stuff like that. These are all points to show social proof. It's ways to show credibility, and it really makes it so that you gain a lot more trust with whoever the viewer is. And so we go on to step 6, and at this point you've built a ton of rapport with your viewer listener, and they are now drooling, right? They want to keep hearing from you now, and they want the value. This is where we introduce unique, insightful golden nuggets is what we call them. And this is information that's extremely valuable in helping your viewers and listeners, and it's going to create and start a positive upward spiral. And this is really key, because even if this person doesn't end up working with you, they'll find this information useful, and the person should think to themselves, like, wow, this was absolutely useful. Like, how do I work with this person? Right? That's what we want to go for, right? And if they, maybe for whatever reason, it's not a good fit or not the right timing. We've even had situations where they referred off to someone else in their office, a realtor, to another realtor in their office, right? Just because they were so impressed, and like it really set a very positive impression. And so ask yourself this question, right? What does my viewer or listener, in this case a realtor, need to believe to be true, such that by believing this, they are guaranteed to work with me? And the same principle can really not just be applied to realtors, but really even to home buyers, right? The same principle applies to marketing to home buyers. And this information that you're sharing with them is something that's exclusive to you and really relative to your market, right? So say, for example, like you're in Alabama, right? So you might have something specifically for Alabama realtors, right? That could help their Alabama home buyers. And so this information, especially if it's something that is not as commonly known by realtors, which, as you know, a lot of realtors aren't as savvy when it comes to really knowing as much about the loan process as you are. So it's really one of these things that the more that you can build a curiosity and share these nuggets, these golden nuggets, that the market will really be attracted and really find value in what you're saying. Step 7, once you've come up with these unique useful insights, you can call them, let's say, secrets or golden nuggets, you need to provide a summary to the user in order to tie all of these points together, right? Humans tend to have bad memories, right? And so you use this opportunity to remind the viewer to store the concepts. And at this point, you will need to provide alternatives to working with you. And you will be comparing the hard way versus the easy way, and the easy way is that way is working with you. And you will explain how much easier, better, faster it is to work with you, right? This is relatively simple. If you've been at that company for quite a while, is explaining to the realtor how it's going to be a lot easier, better, faster for them to work with you, as opposed to maybe another loan officer. And now that the viewer and listener has bought into you, and like they now see the value and they really find value in the insights that you've shared, you need to then present your offer. And according to our research and what we've seen personally, having a clear call to action is going to increase your conversions by 80%, right? Because some people that view your video, they're going to see a lot of value in it. And then if there's no call to action, there's really nothing to direct them into the next step, really, which would be to book a call or to hop on a conversation with you, right? So you can say something along the lines of, before you wanted to purchase a home, you would have to go to the bank to find the right loan officer and bear all of the risk. But now you can use our VIP home buyers program to purchase your dream home, eliminating all the risk. All you need to do is book a call. And this right here, this is your call to action, right? So this is an example of what it will look like for a borrower. And for a realtor, it would be slightly different, right? So before, when you wanted to close on a loan fast, you would have to go to a bank and find the right loan officer and bear all of the risk and bear all of the risk and risk looking bad in front of your client. But now you can use our VIP realtor referral program to be able to close your loan within X days, which would eliminate all risk. All you need to do is book a call here. So that would be an example of an offer. Step 10, you top that off by throwing in a couple bonuses and guarantees to really spice up that offer. And really the idea here is like, we want to make it a no-brainer to work with you, right? We want it to just make it very easy for them to say yes. And here are a couple examples of that. So there's a no obligation guarantee. For whatever reason you aren't satisfied with working with us, you're able to walk away, no strings attached. Free appraisal bonus. We'll waive your client's appraisal. It's at no cost. Special services program. So this would be for any of the realtors clients that are police officers, firefighters, teachers, or healthcare workers. If so, they're able to really save thousands and get a free home appraisal and warranty. So these are a couple of these bonuses and guarantees that really makes it easy for a realtor and a borrower to work with you. And step 11, video sales letters are the answer to high quality leads, not just when it comes to borrowers, but also realtors. A VSL, it allows you to make irresistible offers to people before they even speak to you. And not only that, it will position you as the expert and the trusted advisor and really the go-to lender. And this is going to eliminate the thought of working with another loan officer that cold called them out of the blue. It makes more sense to work with you financially, right? They can see themselves winning and closing more transactions and more than anything, not losing deals, right? Because that's what realtors care about is not looking bad in front of the client and also not letting deals fall through. And the viewer, listener, they need to really feel understood and really, most importantly, they have to feel safe and secure with you, right? And this means you have to address all of their concerns and provide legitimate reasons for them to work with you, right? And the VSL allows you to attract the best realtors that will send you referrals and don't give you headaches, and the best clients who have good credit and they have the money for a down payment. So here are a couple FAQs, common questions that we get when talking about video sales letters. Will my leads watch the entire video sales letter? If the answer to this is if the video sales letter are providing value and it is useful to the user, you can expect a good portion of your leads that are going to be watching your entire video sales letter, right? So if you go through the structure that we've laid out here, it will be very valuable. And to those realtors that are open to working with you and they're going to go through it and they're they are going to be going through it, a good portion of them, and they're going to be able to get warmed up to you through that video sales letter. So how long does the video sales letter need to be? So there's really no set time limit on a video sales letter. There's no time limit or rules that say it has to be 2 minutes or 5 hours. There's nothing like that. It just needs to be long enough to be able to deliver all the value that you could possibly give, right? So I want you to manage to really just jam pack as much value possible to be able to give to that viewer or listener. Can my team create multiple video sales letters? Perhaps each loan officer can create one for themselves. Yes, so each LO within a team, they can create their own video sales letters. Each video sales letter is expanding your reach to the team, especially if you use retargeting campaigns, which I'll be talking about towards the end of this video here. It can be run to realtors in your local area, which will help you pocket thousands, right? These retargeting campaigns with the video sales letters will help you a lot. And what if I don't have an offer? You can create an offer today. Create an offer where realtors will feel stupid saying no. And all you have to do, just put your phone down, just sit in silence and ask yourself, what can I offer to realtors that will make them feel stupid saying no to me? How do I record the video sales letters? So you can record the video sales letters using Loom. It's free to use, and it's actually what I'm using right now to film this video here that you're seeing. What tools do I need to create a video sales letter? So all you need is a landing page builder. Most CRMs already come with this feature. Some of the most common ones are Follow Up Boss, Chime, or Go High Level. Personally, we use Go High Level. It's by far the most cost-effective one, and it's super, super useful. I don't know how to create funnels or landing pages. So really the key on your landing page is the video sales letter. If the video sales letter is extremely valuable and helpful to the reader, your funnel will convert, right? And so even if the viewer doesn't work with you, they'll find the content useful and applicable, and there is utility to it. Like we've had clients that use this for getting borrowers, and they'll have referrals that they'll get from the borrower that they sent this to, send it to someone else, and then them going through it and then giving them coming in as a referral. And you have to keep in mind that without a clear offer that explains the unique value proposition, the marketing is going to yield little to no results, right? So most loan officers, they look at other loan officers to copy their offer. And as we've talked about, competition isn't good. If you compete, you die. And that is something that Peter Thiel, founder of PayPal, said it best. Competition is for losers. By competing, you're basically saying bye-bye to your profits. So now on to step 2. Now that we've gone through step 1, creating the video sales letter and using a unique value proposition, unique partnership proposition, we're then going to go into step 2, which is now installing a reverse prospecting ecosystem. So let's look at how most loan officers grow their realtor network, right? And you let me know if this is something that you might be doing right now. Cold calling realtors on Mondays, dropping by open houses, visiting real estate offices, going to BNI networking events, reaching out to listing agents, partnering with a realtor you met through word of mouth, or that might be a buddy of yours. The issue with these methods is they're not scalable or predictable, and there's so many hours in the day to cold call and work on files, and then also to nurture existing realtors, right? There's only so many hours, and there's really not enough of us, right? We're only like one person, and there's really only 24 hours in a day. And if you fail to do one of these, then really your business gets affected, right? If you don't nurture your existing realtors, then they're going to drop off, which is going to increase your future deals. If you don't nurture your clients and you don't provide a good service, then the realtor will be notified of this, and then they will not be using you, and you might get a bad review from this, right? So it's a delicate balancing act, right? And even if you somehow do manage to do all three, you will either burn out because of the stress that it creates, or you will generate more business and stop doing things like the cold calling, and then business slows down and the income roller coaster continues, right? So direct response marketing. This is the next point to get into explaining what reverse prospecting is. So direct response is a type of marketing, and this is designed to elicit an instant response by encouraging prospects to take a specific action. And this is going to be by far your most effective and profitable way to market yourself to realtors and home buyers. And it needs to elicit a response for someone to take action, right? So this is how you can really make a fortune with your marketing. And imagine putting out an offer like buy with me and get a free trip to Cancun, right? Now, of course, an offer like that, it's going to be hard to to sustain, but if you think about it, this is how marketing works, right? And this is how it should be. If it's not that bus stops or like billboards or TV, radio, or Facebook ads don't work. In fact, all of them pretty much do. Some are a little bit more effective than the other ones. But at the end of the day, it's really like, what is the messaging? What is the offer that is on those ads, on those billboards? That's what's really making the messaging that's on those billboards and TV and radio is what makes the marketing work, right? And so according to the book Magnetic Marketing by Dan Kennedy, who we referenced to earlier, all the frustrations and internal problems you are experiencing with your business today are because you don't have a good marketing system. Without a sufficient and steady stream of people with whom you can exchange value for money, nothing else in your business matters, right? If we have the cash flow issues, if there's no clients coming in, if there's no cash flow coming in, the business does not exist. And so the financial reality is, in every profession, every category of business, every sales team, every population, these figures hold true. 1% create tremendous wealth and income. 4% do really well. 15% earn good livings. 60% struggle endlessly, and 20% fail. And you've probably seen all of these in your industry. If you've been in the mortgage industry, you've probably seen all of these different categories and can probably agree with this, and how the different loan officers come into these different categories here. And really, the secret to using direct response marketing for the purpose of growing your referral partnerships is really to use it in a way to put your offer in front of realtors organically through using an SDR and or an email marketing campaign, both of which I'll talk about in just a second. And those who respond positively, you're then going to proceed to book them for a call, right? So the key here is, instead of doing all the outreach manually yourself and hearing no all the time, right? Because who really likes hearing that all the time every single day, right? No one. You have someone else do it for you, and you speak to only the interested realtors that are open to conversation, right? So the key here in setting up a reverse prospecting system is having a system that will put these offers, the messaging out there for you, and only the ones who are interested and truly warm, right? It's going to only get you in front of those people, right? As opposed to reaching out yourself, cold calling realtors, and just hearing no all the time, or getting some rude realtors, angry realtors that might be getting frustrated with you cold calling them, right? And so what this does is it's going to eliminate the cold aspect of prospecting realtors, and it's going to make it for a lot more warmer calls. This process right here is called reverse prospecting. And the way that we're making an ecosystem really is through having multiple channels of these types of systems going out, right? And so if you can have multiple different channels of having, offers being put out in front of realtors, and then you only talking to the ones that are interested, this is how you create really an ecosystem of different channels, multiple different channels uh, of outreach that's going out on your behalf, and then you having as many opportunities as possible with realtors. So how does reverse prospecting work, right? So let's break it all down. Reverse prospecting, what it does is it creates status delta. Status delta, it turns ice cold internet leads into high quality dream clients, or in this case, dream referral partners. And according to Dr. David Buss, who coined this term, and he's the author of Evolutionary Psychology, social status seems to be one of the most important incentives and motivating force of social behavior, right? So people by nature want to surround themselves with high net worth individuals, and they want others to know about it. And this is just psychology. People want to do the same, when working with a mortgage professional, right? They want to align themselves with a mortgage professional who's well known, and for someone who is the go-to lender, someone who has that status, right? Because what this shows is that there's someone who's doing well, right? And they want to align themselves with that. Realtors want to align themselves with other loan officers that are doing well. And if you're able to build status delta with your marketing, you're going to attract some of the best referral partners out there, right? Clients and referral partners that confirm appointments, they're always on time, and referral partners that actually send deals your way, right? Not just any type of deals, like deals that actually close, right? They're vetted, they're ready to go, and they're relatively easy for you, right? So status delta really is built by, number one, immense value, right? Which is what we're doing through our video sales letter. We're demonstrating our value. Testimonials from past clients' success stories. This is something that we're going to be covering in the retargeting campaign section. Achievements, awards, recognitions, deep domain expertise, and a really no-brainer offer, right? This shows a lot of confidence, right? So imagine for yourself, if someone called on your behalf, right, to a realtor, making an absolute no-brainer, value-packed, unique offer, how much different would that be than you reaching out, cold calling the realtor yourself, right, asking for 15 minutes of their time to hear about your customer service, 24/7 availability, or any other thing that every other loan officer is saying, right? The difference between the two is so different. And by having someone reach out on your behalf, you are immediately seen as someone who's established, has a team, and someone who's a producer that values his team enough to have a full his time, his or her time enough to have a full-time assistant, right? Someone who's not easy to access, right? And if you're someone who is not easy to access, this automatically implies that you are doing well. So what really is status delta, right? It's really the relative social standing of someone, right? If we were to break it down, it's really the relative social standing of someone. And is it expensive to build status delta with marketing? It's relatively inexpensive to build this when you have a virtual assistant calling for you and retargeting ads going out, targeting realtors in your area. It's very inexpensive. And really what the retargeting does, it's really going to build omnipresence, which is going to give give you a glimpse into this effect that we're talking about, status delta. What is the easiest way to establish status delta with realtors and clients? So really it's through having the virtual assistant call realtors on your behalf to book appointments, and you're going to retarget your list of realtors to a video sales letter funnel, which is what we talked about in step one, so that they can view the content, book a time for a meeting. So what is the missing puzzle piece to make all of this work, right? To make reverse prospecting work for busy mortgage professionals. And so, having talked to hundreds of mortgage professionals by this point, one of the most common enemies I see to their growth are all the files, the client calls, the realtor calls, and all of the admin tasks that they're having to take care of, right? And it's even worse for a mortgage broker who might not have a processor, and so they really have to take care of everything and the whole complexity of the loan, right? Taking that loan through the process. And this really leaves mortgage professionals in this endless hamster wheel of being a one-man show, right? And this not only leaves them capped for time where they can't prospect realtors or borrowers, but it also leaves them super stressed out, leaves them burnt out, and eventually, just really going at it on their own. And so this is where I'm going to present to you the SDRs, sales development representatives. This is the missing puzzle piece to making reverse prospecting work for busy mortgage professionals, right? And imagine just for a second having someone call, text, email, and message realtors on social media on your behalf for 8 hours every single day, Monday through Friday. if we just project out, what do you think your business would look like in 3 months, 6 months, a year, right? Completely different, completely different. So here's what most mortgage professionals will this is where they'll go wrong when it comes to delegating realtor outreach. And I've seen this over and over again. Number one will be they'll have their loan officer assistant do it. And LOs are great. They're really great when it comes to admin tasks and making, make everything run a lot smoother with the mortgage operations. But really when it comes to cold calling, they generally don't last very long. With all those things in their plate, it's just not something that will be sustainable. They'll end up getting burnt out. And worst of all, it could be a possibility, and I've seen it before in the past where they'll just end up just end up leaving, really, because it was something that wasn't in their job description initially. They don't have the training for it, and maybe even the loan officer who does have that loan officer assistant has never made the cold calls, and so they're not really able to really instruct the LOA properly on how to do it. And so the second one is hiring a telemarketer. And some mortgage pros, no, they're going to hire a telemarketer, but because they're not compensating them enough, the telemarketer ends up leaving within a month, and it really creates a high churn rate, is what I find, because you're really in an endless search for good telemarketers and at a low cost, which there really are none. Like, it's going to be a very costly one for a good telemarketer in the US if you're located there, or even in Canada as well. You're really looking at a minimum of $20 at least, right? And usually since this is a sales role, they're probably going to want some bonuses or some sort of uncapped um, aspect of their earning for this role, right? So that would be around $800 a week, which would be $3,200 a month. And unless you're doing 500 a month, 5 million a month in volume, this is probably not going to be uh, too high of a cost to sustain, to be honest. Not to mention, you have to train them and incentivize them, like I talked about before, right? They, on top of having the base, they're probably going to want some bonuses. And you're looking at close to 4,000 a month for a telemarketer. And this is really one that might or might not work out, right? Or they stay on and then they leave for a higher paying sales role, right? So it's just not practical unless you are like someone who is at probably 5 million a month. Even then, to find someone and train them, you still need to have that training as well so that it actually works out. And the third one is hiring a virtual assistant. Other mortgage professionals, they'll hire a virtual assistant, but they'll encounter several problems, right? So the mortgage professionals didn't have any training to give them because they've never made the cold calls, they don't have the scripts, the CRM training. They don't have the dialer to be able to have efficient calls. There's no management processes or KPIs. So the virtual assistant feels as though they don't know if they're doing well. And then it creates a lot of uncertainty. And then there's really just no processes in place, right? Which is the number one reason why usually in the beginning, virtual assistants will drop in my experience. So in order to prevent all of these mistakes here, because I've seen nightmares stories for each one of these three, here's the new way to delegate a realtor, to delegate your realtor appointment setting. You're going to hire a sales development representative to reach out to realtors for you. So really what a sales development representative is just simply an individual on your team whose only role, keyword, is to line up as many opportunities and meetings with you, with realtors as possible. And here's the golden nugget. You can hire SDR in the US or Canada for base plus bonuses based on meetings, which is generally going to be the costlier options. But if you prefer to have someone local or US based, that might be an option for you. And alternatively, you can hire a virtual assistant. Now, here is the part where it works, right? Because I had mentioned over here, usually one of the things that we see is when mortgage professionals hire a virtual assistant on their own and they don't have any sort of training in place. They don't have anything to make it work. So here is how you're gonna make this work, right? So I'm gonna break it down for you guys here. So overseas, you can really get a virtual assistant for as little as $4 an hour. And really a common misconception is that they're not quality just due to the culture and language barriers. So it's a very common misconception, very understandable one as well. What we found is that there's plenty of good virtual assistants with really amazing English. They have proficiency that very closely parallels that of someone who is like native, and they're very hardworking and experienced in being in a call center environment, right? So these individuals have probably worked for companies, American companies like Sprint, AT&T, Flowers.com. So they have years of English experience and they understand American culture. They usually work in what they call the BPO industry, and a lot of them are usually very well versed in experience in making a lot of cold calls. Generally, we find they're a lot better. If you want someone that's consistent and stable, it's going to work a lot better than US based. Usually, to keep someone on US based to make this amount of cold calls and make this level of outreach, it's going to be very hard to sustain that in the US. So that's the first part there is you want to, number one, you want to have a very strong filtration system for interviewing. You want to do a 2-round of interviews when you hire the virtual assistant. Then you want to have a training period of at least 2 weeks. Generally, it's not going to take more than that, where you go in and you train them. You get them a dialer, you give them a script, and you show them the process, the internal processes inside the company, what they need to do on a day-to-day basis from beginning of day activities, middle of day activities, and end of day activities, right? And then you have to have ongoing management processes in place, and those can be broken down into what is the meeting cadence, what is their KPI tracking, and those are the main two that you want to have in terms of ongoing management. What are the meeting cadences? In other words, how often do you meet? And then lastly, KPI tracking. What are the KPIs? What are they supposed to hit in terms of the amount of calls, the amount of outreach going out to the realtors, whether that's through just not only calls, but using social media as well. And that way, they have a goal to hit, they have a quota in a sense, and they know what's expected. And if you put this in place, here are the results you can expect. Generally, we see around 4 to 5 realtor meetings every week with the right type of realtors. The SDR that requires very little time to manage because they have the script, processes, dialer. This is the important part here. This is what usually a lot of them are missing here, and everything they need to produce, right? And generally peace of mind, knowing that there's someone growing your business while you are taking care of your current clients and realtors, right? And at the end of the day, like, isn't that what we want in terms of having, that growth in our business, right? Someone that can, whose only whose only role is really to make sure that you are having opportunities lined up every single day. Much more consistency in deals being closed because someone else is doing the income producing activities. Remember, if we don't do this, it's going to really create that income roller coaster. I've seen it over and over again. Much more profits than the competition who is buying leads, because your cost to acquire a new client drops significantly because they're all coming from realtor referrals, right? Really, your only cost would be for your $4 an hour VA. And apart from that, all of that is going to be profit, right? Because compared to someone who's doing Zillow or buying leads or doing something like that, they are increasing their cost to acquire a client, which would then make theirs a lot less profitable as compared to yours. And as we know, generally realtor referrals tend to be a lot higher quality. So you're spending less time chasing leads and more time closing deals. So let's go on to step 3. So step 3 is install a predictable conversation framework. So what do you usually say in a meeting when you have a realtor in front of you? Is it the same each time? Or do you find that you're winging it, right? Are most realtors not contacting you after you have that first meeting? Most loan officers, I usually find, don't have a predictable process when it comes to converting a complete stranger into a referral partner. And don't worry, it's not your fault. There's really hardly anyone who teaches this. Most loan officers come to us because they're branch managers or brokers. They let them out in the wild and there's no training or direction. So really from their perspective, they believe, from the branch managers and brokers perspective, they believe self-generating loan officers should know how to generate their own business. And my response to that is, who's going to show them, right? Like, we certainly not the universities or schools. I would know, I have a marketing degree from there. We really need to have some sort of training to be able to show loan officers how to go out there and be able to turn a stranger into a referral partnership and have that process laid out for them. So there is a very specific process for turning a quote unquote cold realtor. And all that means is just someone who's never heard of you before into a referral partner. And it's a much different process, conversation and dynamic than talking to a realtor you already know from the past, or even talking to a listing agent, because even then they know who you are. You've probably had updates for them and they've seen your performance and how you work. So let me go into a quote before I go into this next point, right? Goals are all about the results you want to achieve, but systems are about the processes that lead to these results, right? We can't achieve our goals without a good system, right? When it comes to growing your referral partnerships, what more important system is there than the process that you take someone through from being a stranger and turning them into a referral partner, right? That type of process, it can't be left up to chance, especially when you're putting so much energy and time, whether it's yours or your virtual assistants, into generating these opportunities, right? It's only right to have a consistent process, or even a framework, so that it's not different, right? Realtors aren't hearing different things from different people in your team or even from yourself if you're taking the calls, right? It has to be consistent to be able to have the same outcomes, right? Consistent results. And if it's not consistent, like I said, it's going to be very random and sporadic results. Sometimes you'll be seeing some realtor partners, other times you might not. And so building a scalable realtor partner conversion process, right? So for some of you, you only want about five or so more solid realtor partners, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're really wanting to really scale your mortgage business and be a dominant force in your market, then having a scalable realtor partner conversion process is essential. It's required. Without one, how can you really delegate this to other loan officers, right, that come into your branch or your brokerage? The answer is you can't, right? There's really no way. And even if you don't want to build a branch or a big team, you can still have an LOA qualified realtors. We have several clients who do this, who use an LOA to have them qualify the realtor, see if they're a good fit, and then schedule them for a coffee meeting. So by doing this, you're able to have more conversations with the right realtors at scale, right? So we want to optimize your time. And the way to do that and take you off the calls as much as possible is to be able to have a process that's going to allow you to do that, right? That way, even if you want to stay a solo loan officer, you can still scale up past 10 to 15 units a month by having your LOA take the first calls with the realtors, and then you drop in on the second call or a coffee meeting to present what you have to offer to the realtor, right? And this brings me into the 7-step realtor meeting framework, right? So this is going to be, I put this into a very simplified way that's going to help you easily understand what we found to be the best way to have a conversation with the realtor about a referral partnership. And this is going to be and this is really based on calls, recorded calls, and best performing client performances. This is going to give you a lot of insight onto what works, in this time right now. So the purpose here really is to, in the introduction, which will be the the first 1 to 2 minutes in step one. The purpose here is really to build as much comfort and establish rapport, and remind them about the purpose of the call. It's really the purpose of this right here. Introduction, it's about 1 to 2 minutes. Usually I find people say like, hey, you want to build a lot of rapport, but really the rapport is built throughout the call. And so you don't have to worry a whole lot about going in and learning too much about them, because throughout the discovery phase, which I'm going to be talking about just shortly here, you're going to be doing just that. And so pre-framing is step two. This is where you're going to take the lead and lay out what the call will consist of and how the call will go. So this is going to remove uncertainty from the call. It's going to allow you to give that realtor just a kind of sense of certainty in what's going to happen, because really they're coming in kind of blind. They've never heard of you. And so you want to just really make them a little bit more comfortable in laying out what the agenda for the call is, basically. Step three, discovery. So in the discovery phase, you're going to ask questions that are important to you. So this is really like, you can really think of this as interviewing these realtors, right? You're interviewing the realtors to see if they're a good fit for you, right? And generally you want to see like what are the important things that you're looking for in a realtor, right? I highly suggest to write this down, and it's very, very important. Write down what kind of traits and values and business activities like you find very valuable in a realtor and what you're looking for. And you're going to structure your questions in the discovery phase around that. Like, hey, well, maybe you want to ask what they're currently doing with their marketing, how long they've been in the business, what areas do they cover, what are they mostly buyers or sellers agent, are they I don't know. There's a myriad of different questions that you can ask. What are they currently happy with their current lenders? What are they not happy with? What are they not satisfied with, right? These are the types of questions that are going to allow you to elicit their values, right? You're going to also see what's important to that realtor, right? And that's super important, because once you do that, you're going to be able to structure your presentation so that it's relevant to them, to what they care about, and it's not just some a pitch that they feel like, we're just reading off of a script for, right? It has to be something that's really tailored towards what they find valuable, right? And step four, you want to recap and transition. Really, this part goes off the principle that people really want to find more than anything, people want to feel understood. And if you can demonstrate that, that you will be you're going to be far ahead of the loan officers that just talk about themselves. I can say, after listening to a lot of calls, I know for I know for a fact that the biggest thing that I find is the biggest mistake is loan officers talking too much about themselves and not really taking the time to truly listen to the realtor and find out how they can add value to their real estate business. So this is really where you display your credibility as a trusted mortgage professional, and this part right here, the presentation, which is going to be around 10 minutes, part of step five. This is where you're going to display your credibility as a trusted mortgage professional, as well as present how you can help that realtor specifically, right? You can use a pitch deck to present your points. I've seen a lot of clients do that, or you can describe in three main points how you can help them. And really the key here is to make it as easy to understand the value you bring to the table, right? It has to be to the point where, like, if you were to explain it to your son, right, your 5-year-old son, if the viewer here has one, if you were to, for example, explain it to a 5-year-old boy, right, would they be able to understand those three main points, right? Would they be able to understand your presentation? If that checks off, and they would, then that's how you know you have a really excellent presentation, right? And that's not to compare realtors to a 5-year-old 5-year-old kid, but what I'm saying is the easier that we can make the presentation, the better that it's going to be, because usually someone who's confused about what you offer, it's not going to result very well for you. The more clarity we can have, the better it's going to be, and the more likelihood that they're going to actually work with you. Temperature check. So this is step 6. Generally, this is around 5 minutes. And before we end the call, we want to confirm if the realtor sees the value in potentially working with you. And this can be accomplished by simply asking, what do you find most valuable of what I've shown you here today? And this will allow you to see which part is most relevant for the realtor, right? This is going to let you see what's really important to them, right? And you want to kind of see and project, like, do they believe that, it's really a potentially good idea to work with you, right? Step 7 is close. And this is where you, quote unquote, ask for the sale. And it's one of the most important components that really most loan officers miss. And it makes a big difference, right? You need to guide the realtor into the logical next step of working with you. And the best way for them to see how you work is to give you a shot with their next buyer, so they can see that you hold true to your word and everything you spoke about in your presentation. This process is what has allowed new loan officers to be able to get on call with the realtor and have the same level of sharpness, preparedness, and confidence as someone who's 10 years in the industry. As with the case of our client Omar, who's a new San Diego mortgage broker, and he'd been struggling to set meetings with realtors for months. And he wasn't sure how to go about it. And he was even more unsure on really what to say on the meeting, and what that should look like with the realtor, right? And in the first week, he used the unique partnership proposition we helped him create. And then he used the realtor meeting framework. And within 1 week, he already got a realtor to start working with him, right? So this process is very powerful, right? It's what's allowed our client Chris, who's a Texas mortgage broker. He was able to get a referral from a realtor the very same day. When you can really show the value to the realtor and they see themselves winning with you, it really becomes inevitable that they start sending business to you, right? And so here are some of the benefits that you can expect when implementing a really predictable realtor partner conversion process. Status delta, the realtors are going to come to you all warmed up and prepared instead of cold and skeptical. You can now pick and choose quality realtor partners, right? Because at the end of the day, right, we want to work with the right type of realtors. We don't want to work with the headache ones, the ones that are difficult to deal with, calling you all the time and like asking for updates, thinking they know more about the mortgage process than you do. We want to have more options than that, right? So we you'll attract and convert higher producing realtors that really value your time and effort, and you won't have to deal with lower producing realtors that cause you headaches, right? Which, as I talked about, no one really wants, right? So you have a process that you can really use to duplicate yourself very fast, right? Once you have this in place, you can really start to delegate it to your loan officers, or to your LOA, so that you can talk to as many realtors as possible. And we are now going to go into the final step, which is step 4 of this process. And this is using a content portal to nurture realtors. And I want you to imagine for just a moment that you're a realtor, right? And you keep receiving calls from loan officers asking for business, but never giving anything back in return to you. How likely are you to refer business to them? Probably not very likely, right? Yet, this is really exactly what many loan officers' follow-up strategy is. And that's really like if they follow up, right? Which I find a lot, most of them don't, right? But the ones that do, usually it's following that strategy, right? Just kind of following up with the realtor and seeing if, they're ready to send them a pre-approval, right? And really, here's how the typical scenario goes. You meet with the realtor, you build rapport with them, you have a couple laughs, you then ask them a couple questions. They ask you a couple questions. Then at the end, you tell them how you can help. Everything sounds great. You feel hopeful. And then it's crickets, right? You never hear from them again. They don't answer your calls. They don't respond to your texts. And unfortunately, this is the reality for how a lot of realtors meetings go, especially when you're reaching out to realtors from cold calls, major um, especially as you're reaching out to realtors from cold calls. This is generally like how they go if they don't have these processes that I have outlined here today. And really, what if there was a way, an easier way to follow up and every time add value to your realtor's business, right? The only way to really do it effectively in today's market is to be different. When every loan officer is doing their Monday cold calls, asking their realtors how their weekend was, you will have something different that will actually be a breath of fresh air for realtors. And you'll need something that not only provides value, but it's also going to keep you top of mind and present, right? And this is where we bring up the behavior based follow up, right? This is how we are establishing frequency and relevancy. Realtors, much like yourself and myself, they have a preferred way of communicating, right? And some prefer text, other prefer email, and there's a percentage who only prefer doing calls, right? And the only way to ensure you reach them is to really use multiple channels of communication, because the truth is realtors might not always pick up to your call, but they'll definitely see your text, and they might see it at the end of the day. They might see it in the morning after they've woken up. They might, quite honestly, they might not see your email. But the truth is, if we have all of these different texts, if we have all of these different approaches, these different channels, texts, emails, and calls all being spread out so that we're not annoying them, this really ensures frequency. And how frequently you follow up is really going to determine your success, right? Now, not just the frequency, but the relevancy. And it should be at least 2 times a week, I find, especially in the first months. The first 3 months, you're definitely using text, email, and a personalized call from you, ideally. We definitely don't want to outsource this to an LOA. This has definitely been the best type of communication combination and cadence that we've seen that has worked best, right? It's a really good balance so that we're not annoying the realtors, but at the same time, they're not forgetting about us, right? And you can automate this slightly using your CRM, but obviously the more personalized, the better results that you're going to get. And so the second part is relevancy. So let me explain. The fastest way to lose a realtor after you've just met them is to put them on generic email drip campaign. And how many of us are guilty of doing this, right? Where we have like a drip campaign. The problem with this, it has really no perceived value to the realtor because it's not specific to solving their problems, right? The more relevancy, it comes from really evaluating what the realtor needs, which is done on the initial realtor meeting, and then creating your follow-up based on those very things, right? So here's an example from our client Jamie, who landed a very top producing realtor in only a span of 5 weeks, right? So throughout the call, he's listening to the realtor and finding what's missing with their current lender referral partnerships, right? And as he's listening, he's finding at least 2 things he can walk away with as reasons to follow up. Perhaps it's a question they had, perhaps it was a problem they mentioned. The key is to really remember this and use this as a reason to reach out and provide a possible solution, right? And this is what you'll use for your follow-up email right after the call and after your text that week, right? And if you're having trouble finding a specific solution, then there's always the solution that realtors are looking for, which is more business, right? All of them, you're looking, if you're seeing this video here, you're probably looking for that. And most definitely all realtors, they're looking for more business, right? And the question is how to do this without paying for leads or co-marketing and without having to spend dozens of hours being the marketing intern for the realtor. And the answer is developing content. Most realtors, they do not have an effective long-term follow-up strategy. Some might be using email drip campaigns that their company gives them. But really in this day and age, No one's opening those emails, much less reading them. We have tracked the stats on that. This was something that we had previously done, and really the open rates are less than 15%. The click-through rates are close to zero. And really, in today's market, buyers are getting a lot more sophisticated, and they end up working with the realtor and loan officer that provide really the most value, and rather than the ones who call them up first, right? Because you guys all know about trigger leads, and you know that those might not be necessarily the type of loan officers that provide the most value, right? Depending on who that buyer is. But by using a content portal, you can see a screenshot of it here, an example of this. You can use one to nurture your realtors and really give them marketing ideas and strategies to help them close more transactions. And more so than that, educating them about the mortgage process. But you can also use this to nurture your leads and educating your home buyers about the mortgage process in a really unique way that no one else is doing, right? You can do this for your realtor partners' leads. But like I said, most importantly, you can do this for the realtors to show them the mortgage process, to educate them, right? Because we know that this is something that realtors aren't as knowledgeable about. And if we can educate them, it's going to allow you to have better quality leads, a better relationship with that referral partner, because they'll understand a lot of things better, and they're not going to, they're not going to undermine your knowledge because they trust what you have to say, right? They're not going to tell you how to do your job, right? And this strategy has helped loan officers and realtors generate referrals from buyers that haven't even worked with them, right? We've had situations where loan officer uses this for a buyer, and that buyer might not have worked with them, but they referred that loan officer and their realtor partner to a friend of theirs, and it's simply because of the value that they got from the value driven course, aka the content portal. And this brings us to the linchpin strategy. So this is the other part of the follow-up system. So imagine for just a moment that you're a realtor and there's two loan officers that approach you, right? Loan officer number one approaches you and says, let's grab a coffee and connect. Loan officer two approaches you and, hey, I can help you close more transactions and help your business grow. Let me work your dead leads. I'm not looking to touch your database. You don't have to give me your current clients. You don't have to give me your past clients. Give me the leads that you consider dead, and help you generate buyers and sellers through social media, and help you nurture all your leads using video. Which one would you be willing to work with, honestly? Right. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess you pick number two, right? Most realtors would, in my experience. The name of the game really in this current market, especially as rates are fluctuating, inventory is going and doing what it wants, is really to have the best offer to realtors so that they can see themselves closing more transactions using you as compared to another lender. And really the best unique value proposition is the one where they close as many transactions with the least amount of time, effort, and resources from both you and the realtor, right? That's the best type of unique value proposition, right? And by far, the best unique value proposition we found is really working the dead leads from the realtors, right? Uh, and again, we're not asking for their database of past clients or current leads, just the dead leads, right? And this really puts your foot in the door and gives them a taste of what it's like working with you, right? They can now see your excellent communication, they can see your response times and work ethic, and even before they send that first referral to you. And at the same time, it doesn't require you to cold call. You can simply use a text campaign in your CRM to generate appointments and revive those dead leads. And you can get at least 5% to respond and book an appointment. You're going to look like a hero to that realtor when you send them back a pre-approved buyer. And just imagine what this is going to look like from the realtor's end, right? Hey, I worked with, from their perspective, imagine them thinking, hey, I worked with Jamie and, I gave him a list of my dead leads that I thought were gone. And then now he came back and gave me a pre-approved buyer, right? How likely is that realtor to send business? Pretty likely, right? Retargeting realtors. All right. So here's a hidden secret for when you've done the following, right? You've established the frequency through the behavior-based follow-up system, and you've established relevancy value through content portals. The next logical step is creating omnipresence, which means being in front of realtors all the time. This will help to nurture existing realtors, and really, this is what's going to get you deals, and get in front of realtors that aren't in your network, as well as follow up with realtors to get deals from, right? And with as little as a $5 a day budget, you can target real estate agents in your city with a post displaying social proof, right? So what is social proof? It's basically anything that displays social status, right? This is you can think of it as the same as status delta, which is what we talked about. And examples of this would be a picture of you with clients at closing, celebrating a challenging loan scenario, right? A client testimonial talking about how they enjoyed working with you and referred you to their family and friends. A realtor testimonial talking about the communication, the honesty, the transparency, and how they love working with you as their preferred lender. And at $5 a day, that'd be $150 a month, and you will have reached thousands of agents that have completed a meeting with you, or have visited your website, or have engaged with your social media in the last 180 days, right? Or are within a 10-mile radius, right? Or 25-mile radius, just depending on your targeting. This alone will result in realtors reaching out to you first. You will get a percentage that do reach out to you. And there's a reason why Amazon, who uses this relentlessly, if you've ever left something on your shopping cart and you've seen it everywhere you go, this is an example of retargeting, right? And there's a reason they spend millions of dollars every year to use retargeting ads to get people back on their online shopping carts. And you can think to yourself, when was the last time you left something in your shopping cart online for a product, and then you ended up buying it, right? Like, you saw it everywhere and then you ended up buying it, right? Chances are that you probably ended up buying it eventually, because you kind of you were thinking about it, and then you were kind of like leaving it off till later, and then eventually you decided, hey, yeah. But I guarantee you, if they hadn't followed up, or if they weren't using this retargeting, you probably wouldn't have picked it, right? And so by using the behavior-based follow-up content portals and the retargeting ads, you'll experience the following, right? An increase in quality referral partnerships, realtors in your area they're going to know about you, and a certain percentage of them that are going to reach out to you first, and an increase in referrals from past clients and existing realtors, right? This exact same thing works for putting your existing realtors on that list for retargeting them, as well as your past client database. And once realtors do work with you, the relationship is going to be a lot stronger as a result of all the nurturing that you've done. And here's the cool part, like, most of that really wasn't done fully through your own time and energy, right? Using the retargeting, the content portals, the behavior-based follow-up through text and emails, all of those, not necessarily having to be manual, like, except for the calls. All of these are going to be things that assist you to be able to nurture them without you having to physically, be in front of them. Rather, using the retargeting campaigns, using the content portals, the emails and texts that are going out for you. So as you can see, all you need to do is craft a unique partnership proposition and transpose it into a video format. You're going to install a reverse prospecting ecosystem, like what we talked about. You're going to install a predictable conversion framework. You can use a content portal to nurture realtors, and you can close an additional 1 to 4 million a month in 12 months or less. Now, all of you would quite like the idea of creating your own video sales letters, setting up the reverse prospecting ecosystem, and creating a content portal to nurture realtors. We're going to be very put off by the fact that it may be difficult for you. And now, here are a few ways you can do this. Number one, you can hire an in-house marketing team. And so you can hire an in-house marketing team. However, this will likely fail because any marketer with worth his or her salt is already rich and not looking for a job, or they've built their own successful marketing company. Sorry, but it's true. Wink, wink. And if you decide to take your chance on someone, it will put you back minimum, I would say. Keep in mind, I was a marketer for an agency. It will pay you back a minimum of $5,000 a month. It's a total of $60K a year, and this is without the cost of training. In a recent study done by Training Magazine, an average employer spent about $1,266 a year training an employee and 42.1 hours training them. There's also the cost of benefits. Benefits range from the minimum to the major, such as the free coffee, life insurance, medical and dental plans, tuition coverage. The list goes on, right? And according to Joe Hadzima, a professor of MIT's Sloan School of Management, the salary and benefits usually totals 1.25 times the base pay. So for a 60K year employee, it will actually put you back about 75,000 per year, which is coming out of your profits, right? So this is approximately 6,250 a month or 208 per day coming out of your monthly paycheck at the end of the month. And so the other option is do it yourself. And since the skills needed for this are so specialized, it will take you literally, I can tell you, at least 12 hours per day for 1 year to really become proficient without any help, right? So just assuming you go on YouTube or you read a lot of marketing books, to really become proficient and really master this, to be able to see results, uh, it's going to take usually around 12 hours per day 1 year, right? And this means you won't have any sort of income coming in because all of your time will be spent learning, and you won't be able to maintain a healthy family or work life. It's impossible devoting 12 hours per day while working on files, being on call for clients and realtors and making the follows for the day. You won't be able to pick up your kids from school, and you definitely are not going to have time for the date nights on Fridays with your significant other, right? You'll be like Einstein trying to solve E equals MC squared, right? And on top of that, you're probably going to age about like 20 years, right? Just because of all the stress of like trying to figure it all out and put it all together, right? So the opportunity cost, right? So another option is, just not doing it, right? And there is also a cost of not doing it, right? Because if you consider the median home price in the US right now, it's about 374,900, right? It's probably more than that with, at the time of this recording here in summer of 2022. But let's say you make 150 bips on a loan, which is around, let's say 5,623 50 cents of commission. That's about 11,247 you're missing out on every month for not implementing these strategies. Since this can add at least an additional 2 deals from realtors, like it did for many of our clients, including Patrick Norman and our client Gabe Winslow. And that means every day you're missing out on profits. You're missing out on 33,741 in commissions every 3 months. You don't take action on this. And that right there pays for an entire 4 years worth of college tuition in some universities. And the other option you have is hire us, right? And you can go with Maverick Media Lab and get the entire system working in less than 7 days for a tenth of the price and effort of what it would cost of doing it yourself and hiring an in-house marketing team. And over the past few years, we've worked with hundreds of mortgage professionals just like you. We know what works, what doesn't work, and how to add profits to your bottom line. Best of all, we practice what we preach, and we've used this exact same strategy to scale our own company. And you know very well, 87% of mortgage professionals, they quit the mortgage industry within 5 years, right? So we're on a mission to change that. And your broker doesn't care about you. Sorry, brokers. And you can be really replaced in a matter of days because there are 10s of other loan officers just like you. And really, right now, you are in charge of your future. And again, this is for self-generating loan officers who want the number in their checking account to really match with what their efforts are in the marketplace, right? What they're doing, right? But you're currently dealing with not so profitable, not so scalable, and not so predictable mortgage business, right? And this is also for the mortgage broker or branch manager that wants to know how to generate business and appointments out of thin air, how to consistently get more realtor meetings for the loan officers so they can recruit loan officers and be able to promise booked appointments. Again, hundreds of loan officers have used this. Hundreds of loan officers before you have used this to get fantastic results in a very short amount of time possible. Gilbert Almaraz, let me just go through it again: 2 million a month to 4 million a month. Linnea Clayton, 5x her business. Patrick Norman consistently added a million a month. Kelly Graham closed 3 loans from 3 realtor partners in 30 days. Tim Kemper doubled his referral partners in 90 days. Gabe closed 3 transactions in 75 days. Sammy Bashar added 3 solid realtor partners in the first week. James Huerta gets 5 pre-approvals in a span of, I believe this was a month and a half. Paul Francisco acquires 4 realtors that still to this day, and I keep up with them, are still sending them referrals every single month. And Chris Arnold generated a referral from a realtor the same day of the meeting. Vince added 5 solid realtors in 30 days. Robert Gates added 5 CPA referral partners in 90 days, and those are very hard to get. And here's what you can really expect when you work with us. You'll be able to have realtors reaching out to you, willing to work with you, and take you on as their preferred lender. Obviously, not initially. They're going to give you a shot. They're going to build up trust, and then you'll have them. You'll be their preferred lender. You'll have the proven systems and strategies to turn a stranger into a solid referral partner. You can get to 4 million a month or more if you execute properly. You'll have more time and freedom because you'll be able to really let go of lower producing realtors that cause you headaches and take up your time, right? This alone, cutting those out is going to create a massive jump, a massive leap in your income. I can tell you that from seeing it various different times in our clients. And you can finally get rid of lead providers such as Zillow and other lead generating companies that are burning your pockets, to be honest. So how does it all work? So before, when you wanted to grow your network of realtor partners, you would reach out and to listing agents, cold call realtors, ask your sphere of influence if they know any realtors, or drop by some open houses on the weekend to meet realtors. But now we'll help you get your video sales letter and reverse prospecting system set up so you can have 3 to 5 meetings per week with realtors open to work with you. Before, when you would want to have a meeting with a realtor, there was no really consistent proven process in place. And as a result, realtors would never end up sending any referrals, or they would never contact you again after the first call. But now with our 7-step realtor meeting framework, you will have a proven process you can follow that will dramatically increase the number of realtors that will work with you. And we'll even show you exactly what our best performing clients are saying on the call, so you know exactly what works and what doesn't. Before, when you wanted to nurture realtors, you would call them every now and then to ask if you can help them get buyers pre-approved. But now, using content portals, you'll have a way to really just add value to these realtor partners and have them reach out to you because you've been keeping top of mind and adding value to the real estate business. And if you're a branch manager or mortgage broker with a team, you can also use our systems to hire more loan officers because you can generate appointments with realtors really out of thin air. This stuff works, and it can consistently get you 4 to 5 meetings with realtors every single week. Now, if you're ready to stay one step ahead of your competitors and add profits to your bottom line, just schedule a call here, maverickmedialab.com. and you'll be able to talk to either myself or one of my team members. And just a warning, there are limited spots. We can only bring on a certain amount of clients every single month. And really, this allows us to really give each client the one-on-one attention that they need to be able to execute this properly, right? Because it does need to be done in a very specific way for this to actually work. And so we need to give them that attention to each client that comes in. And if you're interested in getting started, act now. Otherwise, you can join our waiting list and watch one of your competitors take market share instead of you. We aren't cheap to work with either. We don't believe in the cheapest option in the market because truthfully, that wouldn't give us the margins to be able to serve our customers better and in the best way possible to get them incredible results. So you can think about it for yourself, discounting your price or discounting your commission, whether it's for a realtor, it really means discounting your service, right? This is why you as a loan officer should also charge a premium commission and give premium service to give a premium service, which leads to premium results, which then leads to premium high quality referrals. And that said, because you are here learning about this offer, we're going to do something extremely special, right? We're not only going to help you build your video sales letter, reverse prospecting system, and value-driven content portal, but for a limited time only, we're going to help you run direct response marketing campaigns to generate home buyer leads and help you follow up with the leads correctly. This will help you convert more realtors into referral partners because now you'll have more to offer. And imagine how much more likely a realtor is to work with you if you have the ability to self-produce leads on your own, right? And there is more. So not only are we going to help you run your direct response marketing campaign, but we're also going to help you set up, optimize, and manage your Google My Business listing to increase your bottom line and generate inbound calls. And this is going to help you to be found by realtors when they look you up, which they will, and present the best foot forward so that the realtors come to the meetings with you prepared and warmed up. We'll also help you reactivate your current database of dead leads and bring these leads back to life. This alone has brought our clients an instant ROI. And what I mean by that is obviously takes time to get the commissions, but what I mean by that is they get people on the phone with actual meetings with people that have been that are in the market to buy and they are qualified. So this has worked extremely well. Now, just a little bit of Q&A. What if it doesn't work? So after being in the industry for about 6 years now, working with hundreds of loan officers one-on-one, we found what works through trial and error. And our entire lives are spent obsessing over finding ways to help loan officers add profits to their bank account. This is literally what we do all the time. And we find different ways of being able to help our clients see the best results possible with the most cutting edge marketing technology, which is what I've presented to you here today. How much time is needed to execute this properly? Realistically, you need to set out a few hours to set this up. Once it's set up, there's very low maintenance and very low maintenance required from your end. I don't need this. Okay, so according to most recent data from U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, an average consumer unit spends about $5,102 per month. Consumer unit being a family, single person, living alone, or two people living together. And on average, $16,674 a month goes towards housing. That's probably going up now. And that is about 32% of an average household's monthly expenses, $813 per month spent on transportation, $608 is spent on personal insurance and pensions, $414 is spent on healthcare, $373 spent on groceries, $288 per month is spent on restaurants and other meals on the road. This is all without considering entertainment, tuition bills, clothes, and all the other miscellaneous expenses. This is also doesn't take into account inflation, which is currently at 10% per year. So the question is, are you comfortable with the current lifestyle? Are you comfortable with the current income, or is that keeping you up at night? Would you like to take a vacation, right? Is this something, are you looking to save for your kid's college fund, right? All of that is going to take money to do, right? And it's just no longer something where we can be able to stay at these levels here, right? Where your rent is this high, and like we really need to be producing and being able to bring in more deals and be able to get on more realtor partners to be able to feed our families and be able to live a thriving life, right? Next question, how much effort is needed? So the good thing is we've done all the work we do on our end to make this as easy as possible for you. We've done all we can do, and we've really made it to the point where you can just go in there and it's going to be a plug and play system where you can go and make sure that it's not as much of the time that it took us to learn and go through the trial and error. And truth is, if you can't invest a few hours of your time, probably isn't for you. I have a tight budget, but I really want to do this. You can get funding from our third party, and you can actually start with zero money down for the first 30 days. So if you are in that situation, don't worry about it. We have had loan officers in that specific situation before. You can get funding and you can start with zero money down. What percentage of your customers are successful? 100% of our clients that follow our outlined action steps are successful. If you follow the proven path that has been laid out and has worked for hundreds of mortgage professionals before you, you will see success with this program. Again, if you're interested in scheduling a time and learning more about how this can help you and how we can help you set up the video sales letter, set up the reverse prospecting system, set up the content portals to be able to nurture realtors so you can have a very effective way of not only getting the right realtors on the meeting with you, but then also having a way for exactly what to say on the meeting and exactly the unique partnership proposition that works. And finally, having a way to be top of mind and omnipresent with them. Then hop on a call with either myself or one of my team members. And again, all you have to do is just go to this link here, maverickmedialab.com, and schedule a time to book a time with us and talk about how we can help. So that concludes our training here on how to add 1 to 4 million a month or more in production and 2x your realtor partners in 12 months or less using video sales letters and reverse prospecting. I hope this was incredibly valuable to you. I took a lot of time here to really pack it all in. And for those of you that stayed until this point here, I appreciate you, and I'm glad that you found this helpful, and I hope you found this useful. And if you do decide to schedule a call with us, I'll see you on the other side. And we look forward to work with you if you decide to work with us. I'll see you on the other side. Take care.